Hello and welcome to India Tonight with me, Ankur Mishra. And let's get started with the topic which matters to each and every Indian currently. 4 days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged citizens to cut down use of fuel and adopt work from home measures, corporate houses have actually aligned their policies to ensure fuel conservation. And among them, RPG is the first big corporate house to come up with a list of guidelines on the same lines. They have encouraged work from home, cut down foreign travel, urged to reduce domestic air travel, and promoted use of carpooling and public transport. In fact, Delhi government too has mandated 2 days a week work from home policy. How will these austerity measures actually impact the overall work scenario in India? We discussed that with Gurucharan Das. Mr. Das, welcome to ET Now. My first and foremost question to you is, now that corporate India has started responding to the call of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, how do you see the shift which will be there in terms of working of corporate in coming days?
Well, I think it's very sensible. All the steps that the government has suggested and the private sector is happily embracing, carpooling, work from home, in online meetings, these are all for the short term excellent things, and conservation is important at this time in the emergency. Ultimately, in economics, it is price signals that make the difference. And I think the price of petrol is going to go up inevitably. But what it really means is that for the country, we must revisit our policy with regard to energy security. Now, we've done a good job with renewables. However, there is still friction, there is still speed money, corruption in the transformation, and the new people. Everybody complains about this, but that's nothing new about India. The one thing they could consider is they can cushion the shock of the price increase by cutting the taxes. A large part of the price, in India is taxes, and the government could, of course, the exchequer will take a hit, but nevertheless, for the consumer, it may, particularly when we just saw the inflation numbers, it is a good thing to do it a little bit gradually and not do it at one go. So I would just say that it is important for us to once again renew the push on renewables and renewable energy. And I think we have opportunities further to do it. And so, frankly, this is really what I would say is my immediate response to your question. The bigger question, actually, on my mind and on people's minds, is that Mr. Modi announced these measures at a post-election rally. BJP has done well, but this is also the time to face a real problem in our politics. Now, BJP controls 22 states, and it is time to have an all-party agreement. Now, I don't know whether we can get an agreement, but we should at least make the effort to get rid of this disease of freebies that is destroying our future.
Definitely. And we have seen elections after elections kind of announcements And it is across political parties, as you're mentioning. But sticking to the current situation, we have seen during COVID scenario, the digital payments was something which actually saw rise. What kind of tectonic shift you think that this crisis will have in terms of behavior which is there for corporate India as well as the citizens, whereby even opportunity is there?
Well, first of all, let's hope this is not going to be a long drawn out crisis. But, we have learned a lot from COVID, and we learned to conserve a lot during COVID. And those habits already, actually, a lot of people are working at least 2, 3 days a week from home. And all these steps are going to help in the process. Uh, so I personally think that in terms of any tectonic change, I don't think we should expect any tectonic change, except I hope it will lead to a faster, the way China did, in terms of renewable energy. We will go even faster than we have because we have proven to be vulnerable.
Right. And talking on the other side, the view is that India is heavily dependent on mobility, actually, if you talk about the way we operate. So, can this kind of a guidance, and it's not a direction, but only a guidance and a request which was made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it will work to a situation whereby we can see that the implementation is limited and optional or not made mandatory by government?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a disaster if the government made it mandatory. I mean, price signals are fine, but to get in and make laws of mandatory, I think goes against the spirit, the democratic spirit of the country. We are not a communist country. Let's remember that. So let's not behave like commissars. And frankly, we have the most over-regulated country in the world. And thank God there are three deregulation commissions who are, I hope, going to create a bonfire of these 69,000 compliances that a citizen of India faces. This diminishes our country more than anything else. Why we don't get the kind of foreign direct investment? Why has India not become China plus one? This is at the heart of it. And so please, let's not talk about new laws that the government should bring in. That the government has done the right thing, its own. It's reducing the size of the convoys from 50 to 2. That will help, that kind of model. And a man ki baat, it should be, the next man ki baat should be explaining all this to the citizen, that this is what we have, and for our Viksit Bharat goal, this is where we need to move. And ultimately, I would say that I would lead this discussion, as I told you earlier, to the real problem of our politics, which is freebies. So maybe that can be a nice segue to that, I would say.
Definitely, point well taken.
Educating the consumer. In
Definitely,
other words,
point.
Man Ki Baat should be a master class in the kind of master class that ET runs. Should be the master class that the Prime Minister should run for every Indian citizen on Sunday.
Definitely, all well-made points. But sticking to the point you made about the taxes change, and that is something which can definitely attract investors as well. Whereby we also heard news that government may consider some kind of relaxation for FIIs investing in bonds. So, what are kind of measures you think which can help not only consumption but will also help fighting the situation which we are currently in?
Well, ultimately, we have to become a open economy. And the nice thing that's happened is thanks to Mr. Trump and thanks to these FTAs that we have signed with the EU, with the Europe, with UK and others, our protectionism is a disease and it's going to come down. And we are going to hopefully become a more competitive economy. That is the answer to make ourselves a competitive economy if we want to become to become a stronger economy. All the countries that went from poverty to prosperity, all the Asian tigers, the latest example is China. They all did it through exports. And you can only export if you allow imports. If you don't allow imports freely, you're not going to be a exporting nation. You won't become prosperous. You won't achieve that 2047 Viksit Bharat goal. So that is also the answer to jobs. We still have to create an industrial revolution. Agriculture employs too many people, 42% of the people in agriculture, only 11% in manufacturing. That is what we need to attack. And we have a model of iPhone right in front of us. And the iPhone should teach us how India can become competitive. You know, when the Prime Minister of Vietnam heard that they had lost the iPhone to India, what did he do? He took a flight, got on a plane, went to Cupertino, California, to the headquarters of Apple, and persuaded the the CEO of Apple to give them the iPad, the tablet, and they succeeded. Now, this is the way to behave. You see, you have to change the mindset. You know, if every chief minister could do the same thing, take a presentation, take a delegation of people, and target all the leading brands in the world, the particularly labor intensive brands, to make India a manufacturing hub again. It can be done. But our attitude has to be a change in the bureaucracy also. The attitude, the way China did it. China changed the incentive system of bureaucracy. Our bureaucracy gets brownie points for saying no. Deng Xiaoping said, I will only promote you if you bring in investment, if you bring in jobs, whether it was your district, your city, or village. And that is the kind of change. Margaret Thatcher did exactly the same thing. So major reforms will be needed,
Right.
and they can only be done. So this is a good timing because we are in trouble. And this is a good time for the Man Ki Baat, masterclass, etc.
Definitely,
And to
definitely.
show,
And Prime
to
Minister actually
show
mentions every time that every crisis is an opportunity. One last question, Mr. Das, before we let you go. We spoke about what government is doing and what can be done. But as a corporate India steps, which are the steps which can be taken by India Inc., you think, in the current scenario in terms of the way business houses are operating, which can help India grow story in long term?
That's a very good question. And I still don't know the answer to the question why India Inc. is not investing. It is really, I mean, the other day, this chief economic advisor said the profit of its companies are 30% plus. They've got a very big profit ratio and they're not investing. And so, but I guess the point here again is it's you're not through exhortation. You have to create conditions. And if you open the economy, you will find that Indian companies will have to open the economy is the best school for a company to become stronger. Only when we get international competition in our domestic market will our companies become strong and confident to compete in the world market. And that is the answer. The export of our products to the world market has got to be the long-term solution to this problem. So the thing, if we just keep opening the economy, the Indian companies will respond.
All right, Mr. Das, thank you so much for your time and joining with your views on the important situation whereby we can definitely see at least and try to convert this crisis situation, if at all we are into an opportunity.
Thank you.